pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning. Don't mind me, I'm just a little early.
Okay. I am ready.
Almost.
I'm set.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, pending issues, November 26, 2024, volume 112, page 344, minutes from November 21st.
So moved.
Second?
Roger?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Fred?
Yeah.
Page 345, ditch maintenance bills.
So moved, okay?
Second.
Fred?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Page 346, chairs to KPP from Hardin Hills.
So moved.
Second?
Fred?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Page 347, additional appropriation.
So moved.
Second.
Tim?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Page 348, bills.
Move to pay.
Second?
Fred?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Page 349, indigent attorney fees.
Move to pay?
Second.
Fred?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
I just have a note down there about December 12th. Are we doing 11 to 1 or 11 to 2 generally?
It's 11 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Covers all of that.
I know we talked about ham. Other than that, what else besides invitations? Is there anybody I need to contact specifically?
Yeah, we take care of the ham and shrimp, and I think you just send out the invitations. I really don't know what Randy did do in the background, but she had spoons and.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
handled. I just didn't know, as far as,
Make sure that Richard and his crew they set up the tables and
okay.
whatnot.
Got it.
Good?
Excuse me?
This is a box invite you can use.
We need a new trailer for your drones.
Yeah.
We need a new trailer.
We actually have a truck.
Oh, you already
Yeah,
have
we
it?
already fixed it up. Matter of fact, we just yesterday measuring and seeing how we went up. So now the up to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, we fixed it up last week. It's really nice. So
Oh, good.
once it's all said and done, I think it'll be a really good asset.
Yeah. Well, make sure
I see what you mean now.
right?
Exactly. All the guys are just, there's like,
Drawing.
kids at campus, they were up, having to take measures out, and they were measuring things, and I said, what's our president of Boston? Hey, what, you price out what you want, we'll go from there. Cause if you give them a number, they'll definitely get that number.
Well, and dream big and then
Exactly.
spend
Exactly.
responsibly.
Exactly. Let them dream, and then if I have to say, okay, what can you live without here?
Yeah.
Props off, Joe.
Yep, everything's done, thank goodness.
Good deal. There's still some corn standing, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I think everybody's done.
Yeah, we got just a little bit out on there. Deer season's what, next week,
Yeah.
so give them a chance to survive a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you guys go see Jack Guy
or something.
That's nice.
I was very pleasantly surprised at the amount of money that we made for them, almost $6,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I think it'll keep growing.
oh yeah, I can only see it going, getting bigger for me.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah, and then those kids had a blast at Pizza Hut afterwards, you know, they had to rub it into us, you know, but, yeah, it's good stuff.
Seeing Richard out there, we graduated with King Richard,
Mm-hmm.
and, I was like, I'm glad he's out there, not me.
Yeah,
I was like,
he was all about it, man, he was all about it. And of course, you know, his daughter goes there, so,
Yeah.
so he's got a personal connection to it,
yeah, oh, no,
yeah.
like, older he gets, like, I might have walked.
That's just it. Well, they asked me if I was gonna play, I was like, no, I said, I get to be the coach. I really wanna mess with him next year. The sheriff of Paulding County, he and I are very good friends. He's 6'9", 6'10", and played basketball, both of his boys play basketball. I wanna bring him in, and,
Oh,
you know, like bring him into the fourth quarter, have him start dunking on him.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be great. Hi, Mr. Keller.
hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, could be better.
We can always be worse though. Mr. Crowe, did you get all your things put up around town?
Got all the veterans vendors down
Yeah.
and helped the Lions get theirs all up. They're all dried out, sorted, packed away for the winter.
Good deal. Saw you guys out there the other day.
We always wait until it starts raining before we take them down, that way I can dry them all. Chief gonna be in with us today?
Yeah, I didn't go to the office, I just came from home, I thought, well, instead of running down there, just turn around, come back, I just stopped in and hang out.
Good, gonna be in the parade tonight?
I am, yeah. Yeah, we're, some of the staff that are meeting at 4, we're gonna decorate a couple of our trucks and,
You don't have enough lights on them already, you're gonna put more?
well, we gotta put Christmas lights, we gotta put Christmas lights. We're gonna get Cody in the parade this year, we're gonna decorate his dog warden truck.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. Not sure how to turn all the sound off. There.
no,
also, because last night I didn't get home until 1 in the morning, and tonight we're also working graveyard, so, yeah, not particularly excited about that.
I didn't realize you were first up. You get your day set off right.
That's right. Bet.
Yeah, so, and he's aware, March first, right, is his party?
Yeah, is he there? Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to, there's no way,
Is it still a secret or
there's
did
no
you
way,
have to talk?
there's no way we can
Well,
blow it up. There's
We
absolutely
figured we
no
would
way
have to
we
make
can
sure
just
you
start.
knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, March first, out of golf.
I won't kick ya.
Well, as long as I don't get cranky, we'll be good. Cranky, just like, watch out.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good to have you with us today.
My pleasure.
So as you all know, Dennis is retiring in February. Scott's gonna be promoted to chief deputy, so I'm gonna have him start getting used to dealing with you guys.
Welcome to the party. Morning, Chief. Good morning. Good to see you.
How does it feel?
I'll tell you in a couple months,
In a couple months, huh?
or 3.
Are you counting down yet? No, okay.
How many years have you been on, Dennis?
I've been on in the office since 1986, so whatever that, and I was in Sutter County before that, since 81.
Since 81.
We're not saying he's old, we're not saying that.
When people always ask me what these stars are, what do the stars mean, I said, means I'm old. So,
Congratulations.
Before we get to the budget stuff, is there anything random that you guys need to talk about?
No, as you can tell, everything's humming around here.
We got the same thing going on down there, we're,
The roof and the caboose and
yeah.
soldiers and street pavers and.
And your March radio, whatever those are, they're not repeaters, but
Yeah, they seem to be working very well. We tried them out ourselves. Haven't had any issues, so
good.
I think
I hope not.
that was a good investment.
Yep. How many dogs do we have?
I mean, dogs we have right now,
Yeah.
19.
19.
That's about 19 too many.
Yeah.
The problem he's running into is everybody else is full as well. It certainly is an Hardin County problem, but there's no avenues to get rid of these dogs because everybody is in the exact same boat. I asked him, because obviously I'm new at this, if this is a normal thing, and he said that this year has been low abnormal, with people dumping dogs, and they're literally just dumping them.
And it may get worse after the first of the year, cause y'all get that Christmas puppy.
Yeah, exactly.
Reality sets in and you
Yeah.
don't want this dog.
Yeah, and I know that happens every year,
Yep.
so, yeah. I think Cody is doing pretty well. He's got a lot of good ideas, and we're trying to get him out in the public a lot more, so, I think all in all, things are going good. Speaking of which, are we gonna, you guys still want me to take it over officially? If so,
Yes.
there's gotta be some type of, something done by the end of the year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't lose track of that date. Unless you want it back.
I don't care.
Yeah. You don't care.
He thought maybe Roger would take that.
Well,
Have you thought about maybe assistant dog warden position?
no, I haven't thought about it. No. No.
Anyway, all in all, things are going good. The one issue with the dog pound is, obviously, we, survive solely on dog tag sales.
You're right.
I am trying to find out the process of legally raising the tag prices a little bit. We are the lowest around. And at the end of the year, he's scraping by a little bit. So I don't wanna get crazy with it by any means, but you know, even a couple bucks I think would come in handy. So I need to get, unless you gentlemen know the process on that, I need to get with Brad.
that didn't make the final,
Yeah,
ended up in our hands, so.
he's also on the list for the Marion prison, so, you know,
Okay, good.
he's got in contact with everybody. All right, guys, you have,
Okay,
okay,
your, budget request was.
so,
When,
well, I will, if you notice, pretty much it all stayed the same except for salaries. That is worst case scenario, and the reason I can only give you worst case scenario is the deputies union has decided to change representation. They're going from OPDA to FOP. When they decided to do that, we can no longer negotiate with them until that is all finalized. That will not be finalized until, I think, February or March. So, I've spoken to them, I know what they're wanting is, they wanna do away with percentage raises, and they wanna go with top out pay, which is what a lot of counties surrounding us have done. So, that number is the worst case scenario of their unofficial offer. I don't know where we're gonna end up at. Obviously, we're dealing with Patrick. He's dealing with the, he will deal with the negotiations once we're allowed to negotiate. But like I said, we can't do anything right now, and we won't be able to do it till after the end of the year. So that number right there just represents if they got everything that they were asking for, that's the number. And I realized that I knew that was gonna be,
oh, yeah,
yeah.
we knew somewhere in there was negotiation period.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that will not occur by the end of this budget cycle. So,
So their contract's coming in 25?
their contract is up at the end of this year. So,
But they're in,
we will operate under this contract's rules until they're allowed to negotiate, and again, that will be done until at least the end of February.
Now, does that, allow them to get retroactive?
That is the hill that I will die on. They will not go retroactive because we did not cause this. They
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that's right.
And
Choice they made.
And they know my position. I don't believe we're gonna get pushback for it on it, but if we do, too bad. Yeah. I don't fault them at all, but it was their actions that created this, so in my opinion, there should not be anything retroactive.
And you know, it's, your negotiations is go through, but I know that we've given them a substantial
Correct.
raise not long ago. so
Correct.
I would certainly hope they wouldn't
Not this
push
summer,
back.
but last summer, they got a substantial raise. They are well aware of that. I don't think we're looking at anything adversarial at all. They're obviously gonna try to do what's best for them. Sure. And I will do what's best for them as long as we can afford it. But yes, and that is worst case scenario. I realize that number's not gonna be in the final budget, but that was the only number that I figured, okay, if we put the worst thing down, then we can deal with it from there. Everything else you'll notice pretty much stayed the same. I think I put another $5 grand in training, but to be honest, I'll go through that training budget like probably March or April. When we have 24 hours mandatory training per deputy, each year, that gets expensive.
Yeah.
Now, quite frankly, everything else pretty much is the same.
Yeah,
Except for dispatcher salary.
the dispatcher salary is what we put in for last year, and this year, that number is what we have used this year, the increase, I should say. If you recall, we took about 200,000 out of the budget last year, and then
Came back
you
with
guys,
125.
and then you gave us 125. I think that 125 number is a reflection.
Yeah, that's literally like what we've skimmed by on to finish the year, so.
And I-
125.
Well, we got an original 100,000 and then I
Yeah.
came back and asked for 125 and that was pretty much what I need just to finish the year, so
Just
we're
to
just
finish.
asking for, that's what we knew we ended up needing last year, so we know if we get that next year, we should be,
And now it looks like 225.
because we came back for the 125,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Instead of the 200 that we originally had in there, we took that out. When we came back, you gave us another 125, and we were able to make that work.
100,000 last year,
Yeah.
and ended up with 100,000, then came back for 125.
Yeah, so we saved you 75.
We did.
You know, you gotta look at the positives. You gotta look at the positives.
You sell used cars. Well, and this report was printed, back in early September, and that was before that adjustment,
Yeah.
that's why the numbers don't line up.
So has there anything changed since then, September? I mean,
Yeah, you guys gave us the 125.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but-
Yeah, cause that's not.
But
what's
aside from
on
that,
here.
aside from that, there have been no changes.
Mhm.
We were looking at the numbers yesterday, I think we're okay.
And for the budget, you've got it in here 225.
Correct, which is the 100 plus
Which
125.
is the 100
Which,
plus 125.
Yep.
Again, if everything goes as planned, that
think we're
225 should be okay.
Yep.
In line with what you're going to be spending this year.
Correct.
Those are the true numbers versus, like last year, my estimated 300, it actually boiled down to 225. What are they doing?
I think they're drilling holes in the concrete,
Wow,
I think.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, the increase in employees looks like about a 6%, and I know they're wanting to get away from 6%.
Yeah, oh, the deputy's line item?
Yeah.
So I think it would factor out about 6%, like I said, they're wanting to do away with percentage raises and go to top out pay, and if you're here 10 years, you make this, if you're here 15 years, you make that, which is what a lot of counties have done. I'm not opposed to doing that, like I said, as long as I think it would make our budgeting a lot easier for all of us, because we know exactly what they're gonna make next year versus, you know, they're gonna come at us for, or are they coming at us for 3% or 5%. So it would make our budgeting a lot simpler, but I think on the front end, it's gonna be a little more pricey.
There would still be percentage increases every year that they expect on top of that, though.
No,
No, it would just be,
No.
if they were a 7-year employee and they moved into that 8-year bracket, it would just be whoever moved into that next bracket.
yeah, there would not be percentage raises each year.
So you go 5 years without a raise.
Yep,
They know that.
it's their idea. Because what they're seeing is the top out pay gets up there a little bit more than what their percentage raises would ever get to. So they want a class, so like you just said, if you're here 8 years, you make this, if you're here 20 years, you make that. So for us, it would be a lot easier on the budget.
Yeah.
But those numbers at the top end are gonna be a little, I think the top out pay is 30.
30. And I think, does it go in 3-year increments, like 1 year at this, 3 year you hit your next step, and then
Yeah.
5, 8?
But no, the answer to your question is there would not, it would all be in black and white with no percentage raises each year.
Mhm.
Okay.
And again, we have not agreed upon any of this.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
just a gentleman's conversation that we were having, and I told him, I said, well, you know, I've gotta put something down, so you've gotta work with me a little bit. He came up with this, he put it all in writing for me, which is what they're gonna propose.
Yeah. I don't envy you trying to convert the salaries over.
That's why I have Angie.
I have a spreadsheet, and I just kind of put them in at the brackets that they would be at if this went into place, and based it off of that.
That's how you look at, somebody come up with a computer
Yeah.
program
Yeah.
that does it.
Last year was
Yep.
3.5.
I just figured out how long they had been there and plugged in
Yeah,
what they
with
would
the-
make if they were in,
with the
if that did go through, that's the only way I could really.
So, I guess at the end of the day, I don't expect you to put that 200 in the budget. I just need you guys to be aware that we have negotiations. They're gonna be finalized in the first quarter of next year. We're gonna have to adjust to some degree.
And you know that we've always been good about later in the year.
I just need
That's
you
one
guys.
thing we talked about.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put that number there, so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
No, you guys have been excellent as far as
so you're always one
I,
of our
I
favorite
absolutely
people to talk
understand,
to.
I absolutely understand. Forgive me, I'm pulling up my notes here. So the levy went down,
Yep.
we got to put that up in the spring. When you and I talked previously, you thought there wouldn't be any countywide races and therefore it's gonna cost something to put on. There is a countywide judge race in the primary, so there will be a countywide election. So does that help my cause or hurt my cause?
Well, that'll help their cause.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know very little about levies, that's why
Yeah,
I'm
that
asking.
just splits up the cost of who has to pay.
Okay, I am assuming that you guys want me to go back at it.
Yes.
Well,
I assume you don't wanna make up that $850,000 difference.
well, there's another option to that,
I'm all ears.
cutting $850,000.
I would like to do that, I don't know where I would do that. I mean, bottom line, I could do it, I don't think any of us want that to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
there's gotta be, something's gotta be done differently on this next levy, the wording on this past levy really hurt us. Who makes up that determination?
The Secretary of State's office,
All right, so
state of Ohio.
they're the office that I need to call and
Yeah.
complain to.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and your state legislatures, because I think they passed a bill that they're part of their election reform, that they wanted more concise and clear language.
And I get that, and I'm all for that, but when you have a sheriff's levy and the word sheriff isn't in there,
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I was afraid of that, and talking to people since then, you would be shocked how many people have walked up to me and said, I had no idea that was your levy, I'm sorry, I didn't vote for it.
definitely.
So that was there were probably many factors, but that was a huge one.
Yep.
So, all right, so I need to call old Mr. LaRose and say, hey,
And
Can
if
we,
you can organize a committee that will promote,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
it's gonna take some,
So what is the first step on getting this levy up on the ballot?
you've got to, come to us and provide us with what you wanna request, and we'll have to run it by Mike to find out the numbers that, you know,
Right.
really.
Well, I'm just gonna use the numbers we had, I have no interest in,
well, the millage just changed, didn't it?
the millage didn't change, what it was a replacement versus a renewal.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was the same millage on today's
Yeah,
numbers.
so he'd have to recalculate that,
Yeah.
because values will change,
Right.
and he will probably wanna wait until after, I don't know when, reval won't come out till later in the year, so
Right.
it may be the same numbers, but we have to request from Mike the amount that replacement will
Do we do
generate.
that now, or do we have to do that after the first of the year?
We can probably do it now,
I was gonna say, it'd
but
be
we'll
easier
check
to
with
do
Mike
it now.
on
and
what
get
his
it done.
timing and Board of Elections on what their timing would.
And if my calculations are correct, and again, this is just conversation, so everybody's on the same page. So, the levy is up this year, next year we will receive this year's
Yes.
If
Yeah.
we- yeah, just-
26, assuming that it gets passed in the spring.
Mhm.
It won't start being collected until 26. We'll get the money in 27, so 2026 is gonna be a thin year.
No, you'll collect,
Yeah, the
you'll get
language.
the money in 26.
You can have the language in there be collected this year, or 26.
How is it, and I'm not arguing, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand.
I
How does
think
it
it has
get,
to
how does
be-
it get collected for the year if it's not even passed until the spring?
Cause the next year's the money that you receive next year is based on this year.
Is it based on this, so, again, by my thinking, if we're receiving this year's money next year, and the levy stops December 31st, and it doesn't get passed until spring, 2025 is what we're going into, there's no money collected.
Yes, because it's then collected the next year. So if your levy passes in November even, it will still be collected in February and paid to you, because that's the way it works.
I understand that, but if there is no levy in place in February of 2025, this levy is
Well-
over. Mike told me this levy is done 2024.
You didn't go a year early?
Nope.
Um,
Uh,
We
That's,
were under the impression that you were going. a
well,
year
so
early.
was I, and Mike corrected me.
Well, then in that
Is
case,
that correct?
That's my, I have an email from Mike that stated that the sheriff's levy was up in 2024, so we're not gonna collect anything in 2025, so 2026, we're not gonna have any levy money.
You see where I'm going with
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you now, 2026 is gonna be a thin year. That's based on if we get this levy passed in 2025. I thought the levy was up in 2025.
Yeah, Mike always pushes to have the year early.
Exactly.
Why
And I
would
can
you
double
do
check,
that?
maybe Mike looked at it wrong, maybe we need to.
Please do, because we've always gone on to put it up
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
always have done that.
We kinda got scared when we got that email from Mike, cause we thought we were a year early, but according to him, he said we weren't.
So we will verify.
I'll verify.
Yeah.
But I am working under the impression that there will be no money collected in 2025. And if that's the case, 2026 is gonna be a thin year. And that's why we're all aware of it now. That's where we were not,
Yeah,
not on the
on
same
the
page.
same page.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's just conversation, so
And then how much money was that collect?
about 800,
About 800.
which is obviously a pretty big part of the budget.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good size.
Almost a third. It's almost a third of the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got? Levy, 2026 dog warden budget. I'm done.
That won't be enough.
Well, I think I'm done.
So, do I need you guys to request that from Mike?
We'll talk to him.
Okay,
Yeah,
Is he in today, do you know, Tori? No?
He's not.
Not.
okay,
I think he's out this week.
okay. Well, I realize it doesn't have to get done tomorrow. But
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, we wanna make sure we get the process
We'll
started.
be on it.
889 is what it brings in.
889.
Yeah. So, I will call Mr. LaRose personally and explain my issue with the wording
Yeah.
in the letter. Just like I said, there have been numerous people who have since told me we had no idea that was your levy. And it did concern, and I'm taking full blame, I should have hit it harder, but to be honest, folks have been great with us on this levy since 2010. And I just assumed, okay, we'll get it out there, we'll make sure they know it's ours and be done with it, but I don't think we made sure they knew it was ours hard enough.
Yeah.
So I take full responsibility for it. Anything else, gang?
Been awful quiet back there, Scott.
Staying it all in.
I knew that was gonna be.
You guys need anything? Just let me know about the dog warden, because I assume there's something we have to sign,
Yeah, we'll have to get.
or you guys have to make a resolution.
We have to do a
Yeah, we'll
resolution.
get a resolution.
But,
And,
I'm operating under the assumption that you want me to keep going forward.
yes, sir. I do.
I think it's a resolution and an MOU with the sheriff department.
Okay.
Just let me know where to sign.
Works good and is consistent with others.
Tori will just play radar and put the papers in front of you, you just sign it.
There you go.
Just sign.
What'd you say, Fred?
It works good that way, and that it's also consistent
Yeah.
with other counties.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not out there by itself, it's consistent.
Matter of fact, there's a sheriff now sent an email out the other day, wanting to know how many sheriffs operated the dog pound, and there are quite a few said they did, so.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I would say more than not, so.
Makes sense.
And I'm still learning, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still learning the dog warden ways, so. We have improved a
this a resolution slash MOU, in regards to the dog pound or the budget? Which is?
Dog pound.
Dog pound, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Severns is out here, do you wanna wait?
Yeah, like just a few minutes, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go down and go over the elections real quick, is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Get time.
Yeah, go ahead.
24, wasn't a whole lot of information for us to use at the county on that. It was more getting into if we ran into any tax issues or anything like that, through them, or if anything that we need them to look at, they're more than willing to take a look at it for us if we would need them. I attended the trigger warnings for the state EMA recovery branch. It's also a BOAG group. That's all for long-term recovery. What it does is teaches us to listen for certain things that are going on in our area, because a lot of people won't ask for help, but they'll say certain things that kind of should be triggering us saying, hey, we need to reach out and get some other means of resources into our area to assist these people if there's something long-term going on with them. We don't have too much going on in our area. You know, Sal's still doing some of the drought stuff for Ohio, so they're kind of looking at those areas right now. I had a meeting with the Amateur Radio Operators Club in reference to MOU, getting a new one signed for them, and then also went over expectations and stuff of what I may or the county may need in expectations from them if we ever came down to a point where we needed them for communication process or assisting on communications. I more or less wanted to get into it, see how many members they truly had and what was going on with the club itself, so that way if I am requesting them for assistance, I kind of know what to expect from them for a possibility of how many they can send me and what type of radio operations they would have for us at that time. The state came in, also switched out our March radio in my office. We've got a brand new March radio for the state now in there, because the other one was just at the end of its terms, to where the license agreements and everything on it were void and no good, and that was nothing on us, that's all on state that came in and did that. I had a meeting with Chief Donnelly in reference to hazmat team. We went over some of the expectations of what the team is expected to be able to do. I did provide him with state resources of what a tier team is and what equipment is needed to become a tier team. What that means in long terms, if we strive to go with a tier team in our county, it'll assist us in getting county funding and state funding coming into that team for equipment and also trainings. Right now we have a little amount of money that we're able to use out of grants through the LEPC, also off the EMA grants to be able to do some training, but not a whole lot of training. If they're a tier team, we're able to get a lot more of that coming into them to be able to provide that. So he was looking at that. They were also looking at their numbers of how many people, because each one of your tiers has a certain number of techs that you have to provide and a certain amount of equipment that you have to provide, and we can't even qualify for a FEMA grant until we reach those marks. So that was the key thing, was let's look at it, let's see what we can do, and if we can provide the numbers that we need, then we'll apply for a tier team, and then we'll go after the FEMA grants to be able to assist with that.
So is this something new, or
we have had, I attended the fall conference, that was for the EMA, that was on November first, that was all virtual, fall conference is always virtual. A lot of new information, mainly talking about our grants and stuff, the decrease in the amount of money that's gonna be seen in the coming years, unfortunately, was one of the topics that we talked about, during that time, which is unfortunate, but hopefully that will change. There's been a lot of letters written to the state in reference to maybe trying to bump that back up, just because of the need that we need to have that kind of money to be able to respond and do the trainings and stuff that we need to have in our areas. Did some election days training also, wasn't training, it was more of check-ins, with the Healthcare Coalition group, that's through Central Ohio Trauma Systems. Anytime that we have major events going on in the state of Ohio, they like to reach out and get their hospitals involved with the EMAs as well, to be able to see what is our type of bed capacity that we have in our area if something was to happen. So I did go through the coalition stuff with them and set in on their meetings for those numbers, which I've done before in the past, and it was pretty uneventful as well this year. Went out and revisited the substation again, in reference to the fire they had, to make sure that still the cleanup and everything was still being completed out there. Now that was about 2 weeks ago. The one electric processor was still smoking on the inside. So it's still got fuel in there that's burning that mineral oil. Until it burns off, they're not too concerned with it. The other one seems to be running fine, even though it sustained a lot of heat during that fire. But it's running fine, and they are building the new substation area right in behind the old substation there. So if you drive out past there, you'll see all the work going on in between there. I think that got sped up by several years, because of the incident that happened out there. Stinger out to 117, we had a semi rollover right there at the river, in Bell Center. Original call came in on that, and they said about 70 gallons of, fuel had been spilled. It actually ended up only being 20 gallons of fuel that was spilled. That was handled with just a couple booms and some dry absorb pads, was taking care of that whole situation. It didn't really seem to get into the actual river itself. No sheen was seen. EPA was completely satisfied with that, and that cleanup's all been completed on that.
And just as, that's probably got our Bell Center mailing address, but it's actually the village of Roundhead.
Yes, correct. Yep. That is correct. Then we had another, rollover on, County Road 75. That one ended up just being 2 gallons of transmission fluid that was spilled. There was no reason for a cleanup crew to come in and do anything with that. The transmission fluid was mainly, made up of mineral oil. So there wasn't anything that was needed for cleanup wise for that particular incident. We had one this morning, and there was no call on it, and that was on, South 68, semi rollover, but no call was called to the EMA for that, so there must not been any spills. Last thing that we kind of been working on, the dog warden's been making some improvements out there at their facility. He's kind of stopped in my office a couple times, letting me know some of the changes he's done. So as soon as he's ready, probably within, probably right after the holiday, we'll probably end up going out and doing a course of inspection on the building out there, just to make sure that everything's still up to the way it should be for our insurance. And then once we get that course and inspection done for them, then shortly after the first of the year,
appreciate you getting all your budget papers.
Yeah, there was a
Mike.
slight mistake on those. I was under the assumption not to put anything in the DERS and healthcare, and
Just
Mike
workers'
advised
comp,
just
didn't
to
have to worry
change
about.
it. So,
just
Okay.
alright.
How's the job seem to be going?
Good. Busy. I mean, for the area, it's a busy area. And there seems to be something going on quite constant.
Any, I guess, goals that you might have for next year, or just?
The main goals that I still have is, one is getting the LEPC under the EMA so we can reach out and get more grants coming in. And also that gives me a helping hand even when it comes to the EMA part of it. But Abe would also be able to assist in the course of stuff as well if he was under the EMA, to be able to assist on and off on certain things that come in, inspections or something like that, because he's got the same type of stuff that I have in the background to be able to go out and be able to do some of those. So that'd be the main thing, is getting it under the EMA, so we're able to get a little bit more of a finger on what's going on in our area, especially with the hazmat team and stuff that's wanting to possibly grow.
So you're thinking both operations would work more efficiently then?
Yes, definitely, very much so.
If you get a chance, could you sit down, I know you're busy now, and maybe put on paper how that would look to bring that together, or what we would need to do for next year, or probably into next year, or any kind of budget or something. I know we're done with this one, or have it, but
Yeah, the budget shouldn't technically change, I'll put it on paper. The reason why the budget would change is you're still operating underneath your grants. So your EMPG is still gonna be controlling your EMA side of it, and your HMEP grant would still be controlling the LEPC side of it. So there really shouldn't be much of a budget change in there at all, when it comes down to it. The same way as the command structure that's set up for it wouldn't change either. You'd still have your board under the LEPC, you'd still have you guys under the EMA, to be able to run everything still the way it is. It's just, when I send paperwork to the state, I'm showing them as being under me, and it's showing a bigger, better availability for them to get more things done and be able to give us more money to accomplish the things that we want.
yeah, if you would sometime, yeah, have time, no hurry, I guess, for us, you're, but, I'd like to see how that would look, or what it would take to get to that point. Thank you.
Alright, well, if you need it, reach out.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Keith.
stress when he's working,
Yeah.
especially with wind like that.
Oh, you got crane set there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stress on that.
If things aren't done right, a lot bad can happen very quickly.
The way that boom is pointed,
Yeah.
it would be good for you and me. Looks like they're gonna get the electricity started today.
Oh, for the,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was here last Thursday afternoon, looking at that heat pad, which would be, couldn't be going Saturday.
It'll probably be gone this evening.
That's what-
Typically, it's only been here during the day, it goes back to close.
I'll tell you what, observation. There's Kim's emails.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Cross is here. He's gonna be in just a moment.
Okay.
He said if you're ready.
Look at that one there.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I have another call with this.
Hey,
How you doing?
congratulations, Sam. I've seen you since.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good. Very good. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. I'm John, how are you?
I tested on it yesterday,
Oh.
but
Hey,
Hi, John.
how are you?
How are you?
Good, sir.
Good.
Everything's.
Hey.
Hey, John, how are you, man?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Ages since we've seen you.
I know. Feels like it. The basement's looking good.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Oh, did you take off the wood paneling and just put drywall up?
Yep.
Paint it, make it look nice.
Yep. New doors, new woodwork, new
Oh,
floor
nice.
plan, new
Good.
ceiling.
Yeah, they, in fact, I think painters will be here later this week.
Oh, good. Good. Downtown, this is kind of the first time I've been through during daylight. I hate that. I hate that it gets dark early. I just, you know,
Yeah.
as a kid growing up, I didn't mind winter and Thanksgiving and Christmas and snow, and as I get older, I'm just like, I can't wait for spring.
I know.
But it's looking really good down here. Hopefully they'll be ready to go for tonight.
Yeah, I think I'll be ready.
We'll be back for that tonight.
Good.
Good.
I'm gonna go shorten my hair this afternoon
There you go.
and get a haircut and get the family, and I think we're gonna come back to mom's and have homemade grilled cheese and tomato soup, and then come down for
There you go.
the parade. Well, we wanted to stop by this morning, just kind of a final visit, and just say thanks. It's just been a great honor to serve in the legislature in the last 6 years, and we've had a lot of fun, and we have certainly put Hardin County on the map. And that was always our intention, not having representation for 50-some years. We wanted to make sure that we had a fighting chance to get things done for our community, and I felt like we've done that. You know, if you look back in the last 6 years, I think Ohio is in much better shape than it was when we started, thanks to you all and many in our community, and many of the executive and legislative and judicial branches of government. I mean, you can see it in the staff. We're certainly a top 10 business-friendly state. We weren't 6 years ago, and I think, you know, seeing progress like this is very rewarding when you fight hard to get those tax dollars brought back home, and instead of being forgotten about, we have a chance to put our hand in the cookie jar and bring some money back. So it's certainly rewarding to see good progress being made. So heading into lame duck, I was just on a conference call with our leadership team, and we have about 3 weeks left, maybe 3 or 4 sessions, of which 27 members will be departing. So you have 27 goodbye speeches on top of, sadly, 10 deaths of former legislators, including the current Senator Kirk Schrein, who passed away on Friday. So there'll be a ceremony in his honor on Tuesday. But we'll be back in session next Wednesday. You know, it's gonna be a handful of bills. I don't think there's too much controversial. I don't know if we get any of the marijuana stuff done. It's the, it's not marijuana, but it's the, I'm not too familiar with, you know, the marijuana and stuff, but it's the, it starts with a D word. What's the other? It's not hemp. It's a fraction of it. There's whether you could do stuff through, you know, local retailers and gas stations, and so we're looking at some of that stuff. There's a bill in the Senate that's gonna come over, hell, that word is, but, then, we're looking at a pay raise bill for elected officials across the state, at the local and state level. I will support any bill that has a chance to get on the floor. You know, inflation has really killed a lot of folks, financially, certainly trying to get people to leave private sector jobs, take pay cuts to do, you know, state and local, government jobs is not easy, and it certainly could have a reflection point of candidate recruitment and the type of candidates that you can try to recruit to run for office. The question is, can we muster up 66 votes, have an emergency clause, can we get 50 votes to pass the bill? I think we're looking increase over 4 years that would then complement the 1.75% that's already in place. That gets you 5% over 4 years, and certainly would support that. I guess if anyone doesn't like that, well, I don't know, that's the next guy's problem, but I'll vote for it. So I guess it's one positive thing about being a lame duck legislator, you can kind of purge your conscience on the way out. And I've always been one to support people and support pay increases, whether it's the private sector, the public sector. If you're working hard and doing a good job, the voters will decide whether you sit in those chairs or not. But being able to you know, I had to go out and spend $700 the other day in groceries. That's the first time I spent. Usually I'm pretty good at like $300 or $400. I don't know what the hell was $700. I don't know what I bought, but gold bananas. But it's getting obviously expensive. And so hopefully Tuesday's election at a national level will course correct a lot of that stuff. And it can't come soon enough. But overall, you know, just certainly happy with where we're at. Representative-elect Ty Matthews, we've talked to him a couple times. Great conversations about a transition, should be fairly smooth. I don't think there's a lot of pending issues here in Hardin County that he'll have to deal with. I know Indian Lake will be an ongoing issue with the water quality there. Here, we kind of danced around the issues of the solar projects, but just never really seemed to like get a bite anywhere on that stuff. I know those are challenging issues that you kind of get dealt with on the front end because you're one of the newer counties to deal with that, but it just never got anywhere. So certainly that can be an issue. You can keep driving on, but I would say, you know, I'm going to start a consulting business after this to do government affairs and economic development work, and there's a lot of money we've put out there in the state that still hasn't been drawn down yet, and so, you know, try to keep fighting for those dollars, try to keep working through your economic development teams, and certainly we can try to be of help from the private sector. A good example is we got $750 million in the budget for the Ohio Futures Fund. That is for site readiness and industrial site development. Intel project really hasn't unleashed the full potential of the side effects of new business and industry coming here in Hardin County. In my conversations with Jobs Ohio, certainly well positioned to, you know, be in play for economic development opportunities. So having sites that are ready to go, certainly, you know, want to chase those dollars and brownfield dollars. So I think Lydia Mahalik, Director Mahalik, who will be here tonight, just issued the first round of brownfield dollars. I saw on a map. So to the extent you've got some properties where you can do some additional cleanup on sites. So lots of state resources are out there. I think forecasting ahead the budget, the state budget will maybe not be as aggressive as it was the last 3 state budgets because we've been in some really stronger economic times. Obviously, a lot of federal dollars. I mean, you could make the argument that's why life inflation is the way it is, with a lot of government dollars being unleashed into the marketplace. But you know, I think they'll have a little tighter budget. President Huffman will be Speaker-elect. Senator McCauley will be President of the Senate, so you have a lot of political power again in Northwest Ohio. And that's really good, so take advantage of that. And that's really about all I have to report. So I've just enjoyed the opportunity to do it. It's been a great experience, loved every minute of it. And we're writing a nice, I just finished it last night about midnight, a nice letter to the editor just thanking the constituents of the 83rd District, just kind of talking a little bit about some of the things we've got accomplished for them so they can understand what $123 million looks like and what projects we got funded and bills that we've got passed. We always talk about 13 bills that got signed into law, maybe 14 if I can get one squeaked in here in one duck. I've got a road digging bill that we did for a gentleman, former veteran from Mount Victory area. And that'll rename State Route 273 in front of Ridgemont High School in his honor. We are doing a bus safety bill, put cameras on buses that allow school districts to put cameras on buses so people that drive by a bus when the stop sign is out can capture them on video, maybe send them a nice little notice in the mail saying don't do that again, or a ticket. I don't know if that one will get done, but certainly bus safety policy is something that is going to But of the 13 bills, it's kind of explaining what kind of bills we did and what policies we got done, and just do a kind of final state of the state report for our constituency. So we'll run that here in the next couple of weeks. And Roger, we had a lot of fun together. Thank you for your service, and hopefully you enjoy the retirement of your career. And slower days where maybe the phone doesn't ring as much. Mine certainly doesn't. And the problems now are someone else's problems to deal with. But it's just been great on the service, so I want to thank you for working together with us.
Yeah.
Any questions you might have, or anything that's coming up that you might
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Support.
Thanks, John. You brought a lot to Hardin County.
Yeah, thank you.
Hardin County and the fairgrounds and everything, you know.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, the fun part is we'll still be back for maybe a few ribbon cuttings and a couple other things that will come to fruition. I know we're
Sure.
waiting on the fire truck, so I still think they've got to pick out a fire truck or a pumper truck they're working on, and that'll be fun to come down and maybe they'll let us turn the lights and sirens on or something fun like that. So I'm excited to see that tonight. Will be fun to see.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
But you think about downtown here, and for me personally, it's been a 10-year journey because we started a lot of these conversations through economic development, but really maybe 50, 60 years because we found historical documents in the economic development office that dated back from I remember Jacqueline when she found a booklet from the 40s or 50s.
Something like
where
that.
they wanted to do
Right
stuff.
back to the 50s, maybe.
So, a lot of credit goes back to many generations of people that saw the vision of where we eventually need to be, and, this infrastructure, hopefully will last another 100 years, and then it'll be someone else's problem to figure out again.
Should.
Roundabouts I've never seen, they just finished a roundabout up in 68, and 15 going into Hancock County, Finley. And, I've never seen so much controversy about roundabouts.
Well,
They're very
wait till this one.
There's a lot here too.
There's a lot here, yeah, well, this one here that's very British, and, I love them, I like roundabouts, of course, I don't drive a tractor, and I don't drive a semi-truck, and, but
So how does it seem to be going so far?
we're good up there, and it's certainly the safety is much better.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think for here, what I'm excited about this is, the beautification that'll create from along the riverfront. It'll certainly enhance that riverfront. I think this isn't necessarily a straightforward roundabout where you're taking four corners and it is certainly different, but again, as I read comments on social media and read articles and reports and stuff like that, to reiterate the importance of safety. Roundabouts are developed for traffic patterns that improve the safety, and I think what we're trying to do all along through this project downtown is obviously enhance the wastewater services so we don't have to keep fixing broken pipes. But above ground, we're not stopping traffic. Traffic's only gonna increase. And I think honestly, now that I drive 23 every day to Columbus, or that's the route I take to go to Columbus, I see why 31 is becoming very popular, is because the congestion in the traffic signals. There's 37 or 38 traffic signals between Delaware and Columbus. And it's just a mess, and it's due to rapid growth, but that just creates a traffic log, and so a lot of these trucks and people will easily go 33 to 31 to make their way up to 75 versus going up 23. So as that traffic continues to be strong and increases here, certainly making our pedestrians safer, and that is the key, is making sure that downtown, outside of rounding your edges here, the old joke was just curve your edge and get around the courthouse. Is how do you make it safe so businesses can thrive, people feel comfortable walking downtown, and again, I also, will say this, it is, hundreds of years of it being the same way. And so when you change something after living through it for maybe 45 years, or people that have been around for 100 years, that change is certainly not gonna be easy, it's sometimes not welcome, but, you skip ahead 45 years from now, and hopefully we got it right, people won't think twice about it. So I can appreciate people having hesitation or panicking about back-end parking or this and that. It's just all new and different, and we've had it the same way for the last several hundred years, and, it's gonna change a little bit, so. But that's life, those things happen, but hopefully we improve safety and quality and flourish, and so it certainly looks wonderful out there, and I'm excited to see the final product. But I know we have a ways to go, gotta get this sign done, and this sign done, and that sign done, but it's,
Eventually, about 3 years,
Yeah.
everything will,
good news is I think we'll still be allowed to see it
yeah,
complete, so it'll be fun.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Any other questions or thoughts, anything you're hearing about lame duck coming up?
I haven't heard much of anything, actually.
They're pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the hard work, I think, was behind us back in June.
Yeah.
So I think these are just onesie twosies, people trying to get their last minute stuff done. And then you start the new budget season and the new general sale next year, so. Okay, well, we'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll be
6
there.
o'clock, right, starts?
Yep,
So-
we'll be here by.
We're gonna be about 5:45.
Yeah, so it's gonna come down about 5.
Yeah.
We're having dinner bombs at 4:30, we'll come down here about 5:30, 5:45. And then, do the lights first, courthouse lights first,
I think there's a ribbon cutting and all that.
Yeah, we're doing the lights around 6.
6, then the ribbon cutting, then the parade.
Yeah,
Sounds like it's gonna be a big parade again.
Yeah.
should be.
Sounds like it.
It'll be big, yeah.
That's good.
If you've got a ticket, they're gonna do the ticket winners on historic courthouse district.
Yeah.
I did not get a ticket. So what are they running? Oh,
Community cash.
Okay.
Cash.
Looks
Two
like-
$5,000 cash winners and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 $500 winners.
It's like the old chamber gold, kind of, sort of.
No?
Different.
Cash.
Oh,
Yeah, this is all good cash.
the old American cash.
Yeah, $5,000 in chamber gold would be a lot of chamber gold.
That'd be a lot of.
Writer's cramp right there.
Yeah, I know, I don't think I spent it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably have one. So-
Yeah, at 6 o'clock, the lights go on. At 6:15, there's some dancing on Main Street. And 6:25 is a ribbon cut.
Oh, good, okay. Okay, great. Good, well, Carson, Connor, Christine,
All
we're all
good.
gonna come down. And we're gonna stay in Finley, and that's home. I mean, you get all kinds of crazy rumors when, things change, and so, but we'll still stay in Finley, and Christina just took a new job with a healthcare company.
Yes, I saw that.
General counsel.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the Tiffin
Yeah,
area.
yeah, it's a national healthcare distribution of supplies and some technology for hospitals, and it's a wonderful company, and her commute, although she was mainly working from home for the last law firm, it's certainly a little easier to get to Tiffin than go to Columbus, so. And I'll still be in Columbus, I'll still be down there working on behalf of, clients and, doing a lot of economic development stuff, which I enjoy doing, so, I'm looking forward to doing that.
So Christina will be primarily working out at the Tiffin office.
Yeah, Tiffin and then her home office kind of split a little bit, so some days from home office and days in Tiffin, and it's not a bad drive, cause it's on this side of Tiffin, so from where we live, it's a coffee cup drive, so fairly easy.
Tiffin isn't that bad.
No, it's great, it's a great community, and it's not a bad drive at all, so. We, sold our lot at Road Edition, and, got that behind us, and so hopefully someone will build a home there, and
Yeah.
someone can enjoy that property like we did, and, so we seem to be moving in the right direction, everything seems to be going well, so knock on wood,
Yeah.
keep our health, and everything will work itself out, so. Well, thanks for your time,
Yeah.
and we'll see you
Happy
tonight.
holidays. Yeah.
Dress warm, right? It's gonna be
Yes.
Yeah.
cool.
Could be pretty chilly.
Okay.
Might need gloves for the first time.
We've had some interesting weather, throughout the years on these things, some
Yeah.
cold, some not, some
Last
snow.
year was pretty chilly, I mean,
It was-
windy,
it was windy.
windy night, but
I hope it's not as windy tonight.
it's dark by 6 o'clock.
Are these the same LED lights, or they new? Same ones?
They're saying.
Same one.
Yeah, very good. I still old school, I still like the old,
Yellowish.
yellowish look versus the white LEDs, but that's, but they're getting better now these days with the LED light, so, they can almost do any color now, so.
Yeah.
You could do, you could have a hell of a show out there if you put all kinds of different colors on there.
Yeah, and blinky.
Red,
Yeah.
green, whatever.
Dancing
And
with
then
the
give it
music.
to Wayne.
That's, I'm gonna come lobby for that, that'll be my first lobby, is I'm gonna lobby for
There you
new
go.
courthouse lights, we'll get some green ones and some red ones, and who will be chair next time? Is that,
Not me.
I know, not
usually a second year. I'm going to.
I was in 22, Tim was in 23, Roger's 24. Probably luck of the draw, I'll be around in 25.
Goes quick, goes quick, as you
I know.
know, it just flies. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks.
I know you got busy.
Thank you for everything.
Thanks for letting me
Yeah.
come in, say hi. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
See you tonight, okay?
Yep.
Thanks, Roger.
Yep, see you this
See
evening.
you tonight, yep, thank
Oh,
you.
you're seeing it.
Good to see you, brother, see you tonight. Happy Thanksgiving, and Merry Christmas. You coming down tonight for the fun? Thank you, nice to see you.
Yeah,
Happy Thanksgiving.
you
Yeah.
too. Mhm. Okay, I'll let them know.
statewide around this square.
A little crazy here, huh? We'll be here for the parade tonight.
Yeah, good.
Hopefully not too cold. We'll see. Might be wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to that tonight?
All right, we'll all three be here.
Awesome.
We see the lights go on in the courthouse right over.
Okay. Yeah.
Flip the switch.
Very cool. Is that a big ceremony before the parade, after the
No, I
parade?
wouldn't say it's big, but it's a big tradition, put it
Yeah.
that way.
Well, tonight, they did all this road construction in the city, and this is the first they opened up some of these lanes and sidewalks, so there'll be a ribbon cutting for that. So
Got it.
before the parade, Santa and everything else.
Yeah. How's that, how long, cause that's been going on, I remember coming here for like county fair and
Yeah.
seeing it closed off.
Parade's what, about 5 years?
No, I think he's talking about road
The
construction.
road closures, yeah.
Oh, the road construction,
And they
yeah,
started
5
that
years.
this spring, I think.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go for about 3 more years. It's gonna
Alright.
switch over to this side and then go up Detroit, and then they got a roundabout coming in from the state,
Okay.
down just south of the rivers. So we'll be tore up for a
Yeah.
while.
It's not looking as another.
And we're doing the roofs,
Oh,
the
really?
roofs, so that's what you hear, drilling up there.
Awesome. Well, Jack said I was welcome to get started, so.
Oh, wow,
I don't
okay.
I don't wanna waste your
Yep.
guys' time here. He
No.
can fill in any gaps when he gets here, but, we attended all 3 township.
Wait a minute, we don't have to.
Oh.
Tori?
But she's over signing them up over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
We can wait, no worries.
as soon as she gets them all signed in. We have another meeting next door after you.
Yeah. I'm in no rush, so.
reporting that to, first of all, the Ohio Department of Development, right, because that's when that
Right.
90-day countdown for the pilot compliance starts. We'd also report that to the OPSB.
I don't have any other questions. You folks, that kind of straightforward today.
Yeah, real basic.
No, I really don't have any.
So how was the township receptive of the road repair
Yeah,
items that you talked about?
yeah, brought it up with Roundhead. I know they have a stop sign that we don't know for sure on State Route 37 was hit by us, but we're gonna repair it. I flagged it with our construction team this morning. I just said, it doesn't really matter if we can prove it or not, let's just fix it. That's kinda how I operate. I brought it up with Marion, just said, you know, everything in your road use agreement that we promised to either leave as is or better than what we found it, that will be repaired. They were very happy to hear it. McDonald Township was kind of the big one, cared a lot about State Route 37, which we, realized about 2 months ago was not in our road use agreement, but with all the kind of craziness during the construction period and trucks going down roads that maybe they weren't supposed to, we wanna repair that for them. And maybe Jack can speak a little bit more, McDonald Township, road repairs, their reception to the update that you provided last night.
Yeah, I'd say that they were pretty receptive to it, obviously appreciate the fact that it was being contemplated. It was, apologies, out in front up here. It was communicated by the township trustees that they want to see something in writing from us. I had come here around this time last month sharing that we want to get in writing the full detailed scope, ideally the cost estimate, and then the timeline for construction set by sometime this winter for next spring, summer, fall, to make sure that we can incorporate all of those construction related items, because we want to, we've communicated this point verbally that it's gonna get done, but we want to be able to showcase that in writing to these folks. They were very receptive to that, but agreed, you know, we've talked about it, but they want to see it actually in writing, so, yeah. I don't know if you're trying to do like all the township meetings.
So I talked a little bit about pilot and Roundhead,
Okay.
just gave a brief update on that.
Yeah, we didn't speak at length about pilot at McDonald. Again, I think the biggest thing that they were concerned about was the road use agreement, specifically the township, related repairs for the roads. They didn't seem to have any questions, comments, or concerns at all related to pilot. Just wondering when we were planning on getting COD for the project, for Hardin Solar 2. Something that was shared as well, was a request about traffic in general going on over the next couple months through years. Something that had happened actually in mid-October was the decrease in volume of traffic. So Res had a little over, I think it was 400 employees that were regularly on site throughout Hardin Solar 2 and Hardin Solar 3 project construction. And that's been whittled down to, I think, about 80 employees on a day-to-day basis. I've shared before with this group as well as the township trustees that we anticipate Res and Invenergy's construction team in some capacity having a presence likely through next summer across the project site to make sure that everything is thoroughly and properly cleaned up and wrapped up. We will have additional subcontractors that
I think keeping constant communication, either personal or an email is probably what's needed
Yeah.
through the entire project.
Yeah.
Through everything, even through road construction or things like that.
Yeah, they made it pretty clear, I think, through commercial operation of phase 3, and then probably a month after at the minimum, that we would continue to show face in person for the township meetings, in addition to the ongoing back and forth related to written or verbal communication. So that's our plan internally. Sure, between Tyler or I, or if not both of us, we'll probably be out and around here until, like I said, probably summer of this next year.
Working on 4 other projects around here, so I'll be here.
Yeah, and even if it's not Hardin County, we won't be far, for other projects in the future too. So, we will turn over a lot of the ownership and responsibilities, obviously, to our operations team, which will be on site, and our asset management team. But as it stands right now, we'll still own these relationships and we'll still be a resource. I can't speak on Tyler's behalf, but I don't plan on leaving Invenergy anytime soon. But we will continue to make sure that you have, institutional contacts, not just myself and not just Tyler, but, my manager and, the asset management team and their management, operations team, their administration and so on. So you'll have plenty of people to reach out to get what you need, within a reasonable payment.
Your term, like you were saying, responsibility over to like an operations to take care, are they, Invenergy also to, is that the name of the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our O and M staff would be local, staffers that are, working at the facility day in, day out. They would still be associated with us.
Invenergy
Yeah,
people?
they would have an Invenergy
Okay.
email.
It's not another company
No.
or anything like that?
No, so all of our O and M staff, we can talk to them on Teams through our Invenergy channels. They'll have Invenergy emails. They're our folks.
Okay.
They're just kind of they're just a different team, so it's a little wonky because like we're a little bit more siloed as an organization, but they are Invenergy employees.
Well, appreciate you making the time to come in today.
Thank you guys.
Just an update.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Kinda get cold around here, so.
Yeah.
It's
Midwest.
Yeah.
No surprises there.
One quick thing as well, as of late last week, we finalized our emergency response plan as well as some of our, overdue project maps. So to be clear, they're not our as-built, so they will be compiled following operation of the site. But we have the addresses, the listed addresses that if you went to Google, you would see these addresses posted for all of our entrances. I'm happy to share those with you all in the email electronic files. If it'd be helpful, we can mail in physical copies as well. And my request to you all is, if there are any local fire, EMS, police contacts that you believe best have that information. I know, hopefully, it never has to happen, but I know it's been discussed before that if there is some kind of groups that need to service, any of our project township areas for whatever reason, we wanna make sure that they're equipped with the resources that they need to be able to identify it, or just have on file. I think it's not a bad thing for the GIS department, maybe to have some of our specs, so.
I think EMS would have all the numbers, contact numbers,
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, and we've been,
Keith Seven,
okay,
we can
So,
get a contact.
in talking about, brings me to, thinking, is there a need, let's say we have a issue where by freak of nature or something happens and a panel or a series of panels go down. Is the EMS needed to be identified or to come to that site for that, to investigate it if there's any issues related to chemicals or anything of that nature that would leak out on the ground?
so, yeah, I think there's a couple different answers to that, but I'll try to be as direct as possible. Our operations team, the way that they operate, the way that they, I guess kind of project themselves is that of a utility service. And so, an example that was explained to me that I'll use here would be the same request, sort of the understanding of procedure for our project as well. So if there's something within the fence line, within the array areas themselves, the request from our operations team is to let the operations team manage the situation. And you'll see a couple different scenarios in the emergency response plan that I'll share with you, that addresses some of those items. It is their responsibility to coordinate with the appropriate authorities, departments, if there's a spill, if there's some kind of waste on site, that they coordinate with whatever that department may be, to address that. So it might be, I don't know, soil and water, it could be, it could be an EMS group for like, I don't know, sewage or some kind of other hazardous materials if it was, we don't have any hazardous waste on site. But if there was presence of hazardous waste, then we would, alert whoever the necessary groups are.
What sort of chemicals would you have?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me answer it just a little bit more directly. There is nothing like toxic in these panels. They're 90+% silicone, the rest is steel and copper essentially.
So there's nothing there that's.
No, when they crack,
Yeah.
they're meant to withstand something. I think basically if a rock's traveling at more than 70 miles an hour, they should be able to take it. If they crack, they spider web out, but there's nothing in there except for basically silicone. So even if it did leak, there's nothing toxic.
There's nothing toxic,
Correct.
nothing to be concerned about related to contamination to the soil.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you could cut one in half and tip it upside down, and it would just be silicone on the ground. That's all it is.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate that question. That's a very common one. We get asked a lot. We get asked a lot.
Good. Good.
Thank you for clearing that up. I didn't fully understand the question, I guess.
Well, we get that question a lot on what toxic stuff are in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna leak out, and it's gonna go all over, and there's gonna poison everything.
Yeah.
The potential
Yeah.
of and it sounds to me like that potential is not there.
Correct.
Doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
And we hear it a lot, and like I said, the glass, on the top there, it spider webs out, so even if the silicone were to be hazardous in some way, you could tip it upside down after it shatters and it wouldn't come out, right? Cause it's kind of a semi-solid, essentially.
I didn't have any more
That
questions.
answers my question. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
no problem. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for your time. Appreciate it very much. See you at the holiday, the Christmas parade tonight.
Yeah, eat some turkey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys have any recommendations? Yeah.
Well, apologies for being late, running from me actually on project site.
Oh, that's okay, we
I
got
think
10
a lot
minutes
of
till
folks
the
get
next
caught up
meeting.
on the fact that,
Yeah.
so they think it's scary.
Holidays on the beach tonight.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
It's just meant to, absorb the sunlight, that's
This
all.
is gonna go
I think a lot of
around
folks,
forever.
don't realize that,
Got some dignitaries from
the
the
panels
state,
themselves, they actually don't make any
just
noise,
because
it's
of
the
all this
inverters,
road
right?
work
'Cause the
getting
panels are
done,
just absorbing the sunlight.
ribbon cutting
And so a lot of
and
folks say,
lighting
oh, well, I'm
over
this
the
exposed to panels, it's like,
yeah, it's our
yes,
big
you're totally right that
use
you're that
for
close
the
to that, but
Christmas.
the thing that's gonna make noise is hundreds of feet, right, away from nothing else.
You can probably watch it online, or when you get back to your home or hotel, you can get online and watch they got drones up that'll film all of it.
So what's that for this, parade?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be with the folks at the chamber there, sitting there, so we're sponsoring part of it. Awesome, thank you guys, very much appreciate it, good to see you. Yep.
Jack, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You as well.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you touching base with, those, Roundhead McDonald.
Yeah.
Keep that up, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. We got more to do, but I think we're definitely headed in the right direction for the next couple of years. Thank you so much.
Thanks guys, take care.
All right, thanks.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Would I go through you if there's any fire EMS contacts?
chance to speak so indicated on the sheet? Okay. As I understand, Leanne Matthews, you set up the appointment,
Yes, I did.
and so you're the spokesperson for the group?
Yes, I guess I am.
Well, we've had a request from one of the gentlemen to speak, and I think before we even go, even to people who want to speak, I would like to explain, I think you're all here because you're concerned about solar in your townships. It has long been the position of the Hardin County Commissioners that until a township came to the commissioners and requested that we make their township a non-solar township, that we would not do anything. But when the townships submit a request to us in the form of a township resolution, that we will abide by their request, because township trustees know their townships a lot better than the county commissioners do. So it is our position that if a township requests that we pass a resolution that they not allow solar panels in their township, we will honor that request and pass a resolution. Sir?
Here again.
Oh, here it is.
Yep.
So if you're concerned whether or not we're going to support that in your township, and you're behind what the township trustees submit to us, I don't think you have concerns. You're more than welcome to still speak, but I did want to lay those concerns aside, and it may make the meeting a little easier for us. Leanne, if you want to open up with your comments, and then we have a gentleman that's asked to speak first.
Okay, well, you sort of like wiped some of my concerns off.
And that's why I said
Yes,
that
and I
first.
appreciate that. I wanted to thank you for allowing us to be here and to apologize for the disruptions of last week. Our purpose in being here is to formally let you know that we don't want to see any more solar developments in Hardin County. We know that the approved projects will most likely move forward, but throughout the coming weeks, you may be receiving resolutions from various townships asking you per Senate Bill 52 to set public meetings and designate restriction zones, which you just said that you will be willing to do, and I appreciate that. We implore you to do everything within your power as commissioners to restrict the construction boundaries in order for the solar projects to be the least intrusive on our community as possible. Oftentimes, we've heard it said through going to the different townships that nobody came in opposition to the solar projects. So here we are, just a fraction of us, coming together as one to say no more solar.
Thank you, Lynn. And for all of our other speakers, we have a 3-minute time limit, but Siebernick, is that it? Okay, if you would like to address the group?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo a little bit what she just said, but kind of on behalf of several hundred of the citizens in Dudley Township, we're just kind of here officially apologizing for last Thursday. That's not kind of the way we like to do business. So it's just a formal apology to you folks, that you won't ever see that again.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, and we look forward to hopefully a hearing near the end of January. Let's get that in.
Okay, next I have indicated Ron Seitz.
Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot more to add to it. You've already more or less confirmed what we came here to, talk about today. We need to quit losing farmland. And these solar panels are not thing for our township or other townships as has been indicated.
Appreciate your comments. And next, Jocelyn Kavanaugh.
Yes, can I go to the podium so I can address
Sure.
everybody? There's not much time to start once I get up there.
Yeah.
I've been around this before. I am a resident in Logan County.
in Logan County, and then the county commissioners did their own resolution to stop the industrial solar. That's what I'm against, and our group was against industrial solar. I also am a landowner in Hardin County. My father was Willis Anderson, and I inherited half of his farm ground when he passed away 3 years ago. And I know he would be totally against solar. But I'm here to save our farm ground. And I just want to read real quick because I'm basically going to approach the science side of solar. It is the worst of the worst of the worst in power generation. And to steal thousands of acres of farm ground is the wrong way to go about power generation. This is a letter I submitted to the Ohio Power Siting Board in March of 2024. Dear Ohio Power Siting Board members, solar in Ohio is unreliable, inefficient, and intermittent. Since January 1st, 2024, there have been 18 confirmed tornadoes in Ohio. An EF3 tornado went through Logan County on March 14th, 2024. 3 people lost their lives. How much more devastation, destruction, and loss of lives could there have been if there had been thousands of acres of solar panels? The tornado was downgraded to an EF2 when it was within 1 mile of the proposed Fountain Point project. In 2023, the Our Solar project at the Logan County Electric Cooperative office remained inactive for 4,768 hours, equivalent to a staggering 198 days of the year. Remember that number. Because of nighttime darkness and the lack of morning and evening sunshine. And where will the backup electric generation come from to make up for the pathetic inefficiency of solar? Our coal and natural gas facilities, which supply us with a constant, reliable, affordable source of electric generation. Don't forget to add straight line winds, cloudy days, rainy days, snow, blizzards, hail, and the normal dust and grime floating around in the air which will collect on the panels. How often will the panels get their windows washed? Please read, and I have an article from the Cooperative magazine that I'm going to leave with you guys that shows all the science. Please read the attached article from the February 2024 issue of the magazine. It reports the facts, figures, and real statistics of the Our Solar project in Logan County, located next to the Logan County Co-op's office. 2 graphs will prove how unreliable and intermittent solar is in Ohio, and raises the questions as to what will happen when peak generation is only from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., raising the point again about the challenge of aligning solar generation with periods of high energy consumption in the home, which often peaks in the evening. And this project.
You've reached your 3 minutes.
And I'm going to leave you with the papers.
Yes, leave it right here.
This is the February 2024 issue, and then the February 2022 issue that shows the exact science and the generation of the solar. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak that didn't mark the sheet? Okay.
Is there a time, more questions, I don't really have to speak, but is there a timeline from when property gets signed up into a program to when construction starts? Is there some time that we get to a point where we're no longer able to stop that project because it's progressed so far through a resolution?
The way I understand it, once the permit application is filed with the Ohio Siting Board, then they can move forward. Doesn't have to be approved, it's just when that project has applied with the Ohio Siting Board. There's various timelines that it takes to get to that point from when they first start. Once they reach that point, that's when they're more or less grandfathered in from any changes to the townships.
Is there several steps they need to get through before that point, or once there's just, they get stuff signed up and get all their applications together and they turn it in?
They've got a lot of information they've got to compile for their application. They can't just say, well, we've got, 1,000 acres under contract, we want to start the process. They've got to have things in line first.
They collect contracts, farmers and these companies, a lot of times long before we even hear about it. They're private contracts between the landowners, and then they're not recorded in the courthouse. So, a lot of times they get a foothold before anybody hears, but we should have a chance to close the whole county, especially once we have projects. But if a township comes in, like 3 that are here, and there's nobody in them already, we can, do the paperwork. It's a process, it's a 30-day process and things, and then there can be referendums from the public voters to stop what we may say. We may close it, and they may put it on the ballot and overturn it. And every registered voter in Hardin County will get to vote on that, even if it's just one township. So that's one of the, I guess, tricky things, but we need to give each township that we do a chance for those entities to put a referendum on. So if we have one doing it this month and one doing it this month, we can't just close all of those at once. We have to go through a process with each one, or do the whole county now. So,
And I think our intent is, we know of 3 townships that are actively pursuing this. We anticipate the 3rd township to get us their paperwork the first week of December. We have to advertise the meeting at which we will take action on our resolution at least 30 days before that meeting. Must be posted in the newspaper, must be posted in all of the libraries in the county. There are several steps that we must complete, but we must have everything in place 30 days before the hearing. It's actually not a hearing, it's our meeting where we consider the resolution. Then we will act on the resolution, and then that does not take effect for another 30 days. And during that 30-day time period, a petition can be taken up and signatures gathered for a referendum to reverse that, and it would then be put on the ballot. And like Commissioner Stryker said, that is open to every voter in the county to vote on what's going to happen in your township. We agree that is not right. It should be a township decision, but that's the way they broke the law in Columbus. Our intent is to consider all 3 of those resolutions at the same time, but they will be considered independently. And our thought process behind that is it will streamline the process if we can do 3 at the same meeting, but by having each one separate, one can have a referendum on it and not affect the other 2. If we approve them all in the same resolution and someone gets a referendum up, then all 3 would lose the action of our resolution. And we don't think that's fair either. So we will consider each one independently, but we may schedule them all for decision on the same day, just for efficiency and saving a lot of money in advertising.
I think it would save a lot of confusion too, because needless to say, there's an awful lot of activity that needs to be done on our part in getting the communication out there. And if we do that with 3 separate townships separately, then people can get very confused very quickly. And so we're trying to streamline it, and at the same time, it'll probably be less.
What's even more confusing is if you get a referendum, it has to go to the next gubernatorial election that's at least 90 days away. So this could string out for quite a while.
Yes, sir. Bob?
Yeah. During this process, once it's been started, and does that prevent them from doing anything till after all these processes have been completed? In other words, they can't go ahead and put solar fields in once the process is started for the township to decide not to want it, and you guys accept that. Does that stop them from doing anything till all this process is done, completed?
I don't think so. I think that the resolution has to be in effect before it would stop them. So it would be 30 days after we pass the resolution. If there's been no referendum, then after that 30 days it would be in effect and they would be prohibited then.
It takes LEPC process. It's not just overnight, so there is time, I mean, for the resolution to happen. If they tried to do it today, start the Public Utilities Commission process, it would be probably a year till they get through that. So we can get this process done quicker probably, especially if there's no referendum, if there's nobody shuts it down, it's done in what, second 30 days, and then it's done for that township. So I think that the thing is then we want the township trustees to speak for their township, so that's the way we've always looked at it. We don't wanna tell farmers what to do with their land, we don't wanna tell trustees what to do with the township, so that's why we've always just let it go until, and at first there wasn't a Senate Bill 52 for the commissioners to even do anything. When Solar, one of them came in, we couldn't even stop them with the Senate Bill 52. So it's been a process. The state's learning as they go, and the companies are learning as they go, and so. But we're more willing if your trustees do a resolution and ask us to do a resolution which starts then our process. So I don't think that's a problem.
Can I jump in real quick with the SB 52 and with his question? He's kind of confused as there's a project already going on with SB 52 that gives you guys more control, but there will be projects that will be that were grandfathered.
Correct.
Because they had already been filed before the SB 52 was filed.
Before 52.
That's where they get the projects like like Hardin 1 and Hardin 2, they had already been filed, so there was no way to stop it with a resolution. It would have to be up to the citizens to fight the company themselves.
The Senate Bill 52 is mainly for the bigger projects, commercial projects.
Industrial.
For the 50 megawatts and higher. So there may be I can come put solar on my house, and I don't have to come through the commissioners. If I'm in town, I gotta go through the city now, if it's Kenton, but if you're in the country and you call one of these solar company, little ones, they can come put a thing on your house, or your barn, or your yard, or wherever, but we don't control the smaller ones like that, so. That, I guess, answers some of the questions. If you can think of any more, are there any trustees here today? Okay, so, guess you go through them next, and I think, like he said, Roger said, there's about 3 of them working on it already.
And we know that Lynn is working on yours, right?
Yeah, so, it's in the process.
We appreciate you all coming back today that were here last week, and those of you that are here that weren't here last week, it's good to have you here. It's better to hear the information directly than take hearsay information. So, yes.
Well, since it's already, the trustees have already passed, sent you guys the resolution, right?
For assessment.
I think one of them has, yeah, we've got them already. We got 2 already.
So how long did it take you to get started on this thing?
Once we get Lynn's, then we're going to start that 30-day process to the decision.
And we're doing it that way, as we stated before,
saying they don't want it, yes.
They're asking us to pass a resolution to stop
So they
solar
can't
in
pass
there.
their own resolution to stop it in their own
Fifty
township?
and less, right?
Yeah, for
By their act of
49
passing a resolution at the township level, then tells us to act accordingly as a county.
So you're gonna approve, basically, you have to go, so now you're saying you have to approve that it's okay for them to do it, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And if it's a township that already has a project, you can't close the whole township because they're grandfathered.
Oh, no, I mean, that'd be a grandfather
So,
project.
but if the trustees wanted everything else that's not already
Right,
grandfathered,
yeah.
we can do that too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can do part of a township,
That's
or
what
you
I
can
said
do,
too.
cities can do cities. They can, we don't control the cities, so Kenton, we don't control the solar in Kenton. So they only exist in the city and the county, so everywhere else is controlled, so. I know it's confusing.
Well, Oakland County.
We've read it 100 times.
Bell Fountain is now making their own regional plan
Yeah.
to help set up rules for the in-town solar, so it's coming eventually, if people want solar over or barns or garages or whatever.
And some townships like it, some townships don't. And counties like it, some counties don't. Everywhere is different in the state of Ohio.
Well, thank you very much for coming today.